So we get a lot of questions about how to play golf with big boobs. And so we decided we'd do a tip for you. And we've got Dennise a little bit prepared, a little bit prepped to do this tip. Come on in, Dennise. We've just kind of non-surgically enhanced her a little bit. So she's ready to demonstrate.
I'm normally quite flat, but I'm not now, as you can see.
So we're ready for this tip. So Dee, I always say to people, if your setup is good, she's not used to having big boobs.
Quite big, really.
If your setup is good and you're turning your body, be serious.
Sorry. Never had such big boobs. It's kind of tough. Okay,
ProGolfGals tip.
It's a very serious tip.
No, it is a serious tip because a lot of people struggle with knowing what to do. Do you squish them down or do you try and play with them? And I think you just try and play with them. And if your setup is good, so you've got a little bit of room in here, you can just sort of work around them.
That's very true.
And if your body turns well, they shouldn't really get in the way. But Dee, we wondered if we had bigger boobs, if that was still the case. So let's experiment, shall we?
So what I'm going to say, I agree 100% with Annie. Like if you've got a good setup and you're bending here, it's like men who have big bellies. They have to bend over a little bit more, so maybe they bend a little bit more. But like I'm not this well endowed normally. And so, like...
She's really enjoying having
this. I am, actually, because it makes your tummy flatter.
Proportionately.
I'm so excited.
Proportionately, you're looking good.
Looking good, shoulders back, you know. So what I'm going to say is, which I say to my ladies, is that the most important thing is, I agree with you, it should, but we don't want to go under them because then how can I turn properly?
Yeah, you can't, yeah, because once you get to here, the arms need to separate away.
I don't want to go over the top because then I'm all squashed up as well. Yeah. So with these bigger boobs, they make a bit of noise.
She's never going to take the padding out.
I am, because it's kind of painful.
Do you want me to get out of the way?
No, you're doing great. So what I would suggest is just get the inner bicep here to caress. You can hear the crunching. Caress the nipple.
There's a bit of paper in there.
There's some paper in there. Caress the nipple there.
Yeah.
And then the right goes under the breast.
So you're kind of on top of that one. I feel like I can. There's a lot between me and your breast.
So true. So true.
You kind of squish the left. Caress, not squish. And go under the right.
Caress under the right.
Okay. And that applies, let's all be serious for a second, that applies whether you have big boobs or not, doesn't it?
Absolutely.
I remember, because I actually have seen Dee teaching exactly this in the past, and you've said the same thing, whether you've got big boobs or not, you're going to just caress that.
I remember saying that to you back in the 90s.
Yeah. We did a tip. They were a bit bigger then. We did a tip for Golf Digest magazine way back, didn't they? And they used me as a model. My boobs were a bit bigger then. Yeah, and you said the same thing then. So it's not
changed. Haven't changed. So, but I agree 100% with you. You bend from the hips, which gives you a little bit more room here. Yeah. And then this is caressing bicep down the side. Yeah. Then just as you said, I'll let that glove drop. Yeah. Just as you said, you can then rotate much better.
If you're not rotating, this is not moving, and you're trying to, you're having to sort of go past them, and that's when they will get in the way. And I think that's where people go, oh, I can't play.
Closer.
I can't play with my boobs. I can't get any closer to you.
I know.
I think that's why people think, oh, I can't play, because possibly that's what's happening. They're not turning the body. They're trying to, and that's such a common problem, trying to use your arms only instead of twisting, and then they won't. They're kind of pointing that way then, aren't they?
What would you say? Let's make sure we don't bend too much, but we need to bend a little bit to make some room.
Yep, give yourself some room.
Let's make sure the biceps caressing the nipple, but don't squash it, because that'll hurt. Yeah. And this one down the side.
And that one down the side.
Yeah.
Okay.
And it's possible, you know, like everyone, we're not making fun of people with big breasts, because, but
we would prefer to have bigger. Or Dee would.
No, not if I have all this paper. I have to get out of here. Now that's the real me. I'll just get rid of all this paper. There it is. So now you can see the real me, not so But see, it's still the same. I'm still progressing and going from there. Oh, we've got like a little...
So, you mentioned a little bit earlier about men with like a beer belly. What do they do? Is it the same sort of, just make sure you're turning and that won't get in the way? Yeah.
Maybe don't drink so much beer.
That's a great suggestion.
Maybe just bend a little bit more.
Bend a bit more from the hips.
But they have to be careful when they bend from the hips. They don't keep the same knee flex. So it's really kind of hard if the guys have got... So it's really the same thing, you know. And still the men plug in because they don't have breasts. So plug into your nipple for men, caress for ladies.
Really? Yeah. Plug in? Why can't men caress?
Well, because they don't, unless they have big breasts. So they can plug in.
Okay.
If I plugged in, even with my size breasts, I'm going to hurt it, it's going to squash it, it's going to hurt. So they just caress. They plug in, we caress. Okay,
so look, if you have big breasts and you've got problems, write in to us, maybe make some comments below, see if this is something that resonates with you. Has this been helpful? Are we just talking a load of rubbish?
Don't want to leave rubbish because we're community.
Yes. Liva, don't take your boobs away with you.
I'll take them. But remember, ladies, if you do have big breasts, don't worry about it. You can still work with it.
Work with them. Don't fight them. Work with them.
Don't fight them.
See you next time on Pro Golf Gals.
Bye for now.
Well, that doesn't look that much bigger so far. Have you got
anything? I haven't put anything in there yet. I think this. So what I'm going to do? This looks good, doesn't it? It's just a good thing. It's not. How's that look? Does that look like a boob? Okay. I'm making a little boobie out of this one.
We don't want it to look ridiculous. No, you don't want it to look silly. It does look silly.
Why does it look silly? Why?
It looks a bit
big.
You're very noisy now. Do you want more, or is that gonna?
I think that's quite big, isn't it?
It looks big.
So, don't touch me. People will be talking about us.
That looks fine, but do we want it to look fine? Do we want it to look like extra big?
Give me some more paper. More noise. I don't know how much more paper.
Here, there's one for each. The things we do for ProGolfGals.
I don't think that any more can fit in this bra. This one might be a bit bigger. What do you think?
Yeah.
Is this one smaller?
Do you feel very voluptuous now?
Is this one too big?
Yeah, we don't want to be lopsided.